Top Accurate Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohamed. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy said on Thursday he had arrived in the Spanish city of Granada to take part in the European Political Community Summit, a forum to foster cooperation among more than 40 countries established after Russia's invasion. The European leaders gathering in Granada are expected to assure Zelensky of long-term support after US President Joe Biden voiced fears that Republican infighting in Congress could halt American policy on continuing aid to Kiev. Russia pulled out of a deal in July that had allowed Ukraine to safely ship food products out via the Black Sea, which is traditionally Kiev's main export corridor. Ukraine responded by setting up a temporary humanitarian corridor for cargo vessels, and several ships have left Ukraine's Black Sea ports since. Quote, Ukraine's key priority, particularly as winter approaches, is to strengthen air defense. We have already laid the groundwork for new agreements with partners and look forward to their approval and implementation, Zelensky said. He gave no further details, but Ukraine, which is heavily reliant on its Western allies for arms, fears Russia will launch a new wave of airstrikes on energy facilities this winter. Police in Thailand have arrested two men accused of selling a gun to a 14-year-old suspected shooter who allegedly killed 3 people in a Bangkok shopping center. The suspect has been arrested for Tuesday's killings at the Siam Paragon Mall. He has also been charged with carrying and firing a gun in a public place and owning an unlicensed firearm. On Thursday morning, officers in the country's southern Yala province arrested the duo on suspicion of providing the boy with the blank firing pistol that was modified to shoot live rounds at the mall. Hundreds of shoppers fled the mall on Tuesday as shots rang out and hit 7 people. The suspect had previously been undergoing treatment for a mental illness but stopped taking medication. According to police, he is now undergoing psychiatric testing to determine whether he is fit to stand trial. Thailand has also witnessed other instances of gun violence in recent years. Prosecutors who filed firearms charges against Hunter Biden moved Wednesday to formally dismiss a gun count that had been part of a collapsed plea deal. The procedural step removes a charge alleging he broke a law when he bought a gun in 2018. During a period he has acknowledged struggling with addiction. The president's son is now facing a 3-count indictment focused on the same purchase that includes both gun possession and false statement charges. No new tax counts have yet been filed by Special Counsel David Wise, who is overseeing the case. Hunter Biden had been expected to avoid prosecution on the gun charge and plead guilty to misdemeanor tax count in an agreement with prosecutors, but the deal collapsed after a judge raised questions about it in a July hearing and a new indictment was filed weeks later. Hunter Biden pleaded not guilty to the charges Tuesday as the case moves toward a potential trial with the 2024 election looming. At least 14 people were killed and 102 are missing after heavy rains caused a Himalayan glacial lake in northeast India to burst its banks, and rescuers were being hampered by washed-out bridges and fast-flowing rivers, said officials on Thursday. The Lonak Lake in Sikkim state burst its banks on Wednesday, causing major flooding, which authorities said had impacted the lives of 22,000 people. It is the latest deadly weather event in South Asia's mountains, being blamed on climate change. As of early Thursday, the state's disaster management agency said 26 people were injured and 102 were missing, 22 of which were army personnel. 11 bridges had been washed away. Video footage from ANI news agency showed floodwaters surging into built-up areas where several houses collapsed, army bases and other facilities were damaged, and vehicles submerged. Satellite imagery showed that nearly 2/3 of the lake seems to have been drained. The weather department warned of landslides and disruption to flight as more rain is expected over the next 2 days in part of Sikkim and neighboring states. Sikkim was cut off from Siliguri in West Bengal as the main highway had collapsed. Authorities on the Spanish island of Tenerife evacuated some 3,000 people from their homes overnight as a wildfire sparked by high temperatures and strong winds raged in the forested area already ravaged by fire in August. Emergency services said on Thursday on messaging platform X, formerly known as Twitter, they had requested assistance from the Army's military emergency unit, citing the blaze which ignited on Wednesday as a high-level emergency. August wildfire burned for days, destroying some 15,000 hectares of woodland within the national park surrounding the Mount Teide volcano, Spain's highest peak. Thousands were also evacuated then, with most returning to their homes. The Canary Islands regional leader, Fernando Clavijo, told a business event in Madrid on Thursday the August fire had been brought under control but never completely extinguished, with embers still burning in the forest. He said firefighting efforts overnight had gone well. The island in the Atlantic off Africa's northwestern coast is on alert for high temperatures that are expected to reach 39 degrees Celsius throughout Thursday. That is the size of top accurate global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Thursday.